Kyodo News English World。
皆さんこんにちは。こちらは共同通信英文記者のポッドキャストです。英文記者は国内外で起きている出来事について取材してオリジナルの英文記事を発信したり、日本語のニュースを英語に翻訳したりしています。共同通信の英語の記事テーマに様々な国から集まる仲間たちと英語と日本語を交えてディスカッションしていけたらと思っています。今日は3人の記者でお届けします。まず私は多賀健之介です。共同通信では2年半英文記者をやっております。
Hello everyone, my name is Toma. I've been at Kyodo News for over 7 years now. I am a massive bookworm and today I would like to recommend The Pretender by Joe Harkin. よろしくお願いします。
Hi, I'm Sean Miyaguchi. I've been at Kyodo for a long time now and have been on the sports team since around 2018. よろしくお願いします。
ありがとうございます。では望月さん、今日の記事のタイトルをまず読んでくれますか？
はい。Football, Japan beaten at death by Brazil, leave World Cup in round of 32.
日本、ブラジルに終了間際に敗れ、ワールドカップ敗退。では、最初の3パラも読んでください。
Japan came close to making history, but suffered a heartbreaking 2-1 defeat to Brazil at the death in the World Cup round of 32, falling short of their first ever knockout phase win at the tournament. Kaishu Sano scored a 29th minute opener for Japan, but Casemiro leveled with a 56th minute header, and Gabriel Martinelli netted the winner for the 5-time champions in the 5th minute of stoppage time at Houston Stadium. Japan manager Hajime Moriyasu could not get the better of Carlo Ancelotti, his revered Italian counterpart, for a second time after Japan claimed a 3-2 comeback victory over the Seleção in a friendly in Tokyo last October, their first win against Brazil at senior level.
日本は歴史に残る勝利まであと一歩でしたが、ワールドカップ決勝トーナメント1回戦でブラジルに試合終了間際の決勝ゴールを許し、1対2で敗れました。この結果、日本は初めての決勝トーナメント勝利を挙げることはできませんでした。日本は前半29分、佐野海舟選手のゴールで先制しました。しかし後半11分にカゼミーロ選手がヘディングで同点ゴールを決めます。そしてアディショナルタイム5分、5回のワールドカップ優勝を誇るブラジルのガブリエル・マルティネッリ選手が決勝ゴールを決めました。日本代表の森保一監督はイタリア人のカルロ・アンチェロッティ監督に再び勝つことはできませんでした。日本は昨年10月、東京で行われた親善試合でブラジルに3対2で逆転勝ちし、日本代表として初めてブラジルに勝利していました。So the World Cup is a big topic right now. I think it's really hard to avoid this topic wherever you go, like in Japan. I'm not a huge soccer fan, to be honest, but I have to admit that, the results are always coming in, and I guess I could say that I'm following it a little bit. How about you, Mochizuki-san? Are you a soccer fan, and do you follow the World Cup?
I would say it's about the same as you. I'm not a massive fan by any means, but if it's on, I will watch it. But this time around, because it's in the States and there's a huge time difference, a lot of the games are like at 2 a.m. and those games I won't watch. But if they're playing at like 8 a.m. Japan time, I will look for it on TV to see which teams are playing, regardless of if it's Japan or any of the host teams.
Yeah, I guess the World Cup is kind of like the Olympics or WBC, the World Baseball Classic. Even if you're not like a soccer fan, like you kind of tune in and kind of support your country. Regarding the fact that Japan made it to the knockout stage this time, how high would you say that the expectation was for Japan to win?
Japan has set a goal of winning the World Cup by, I believe, 2050. And the manager, Moriyasu, this time had also said that they were coming with the goal of winning the tournament in the US, Mexico and Canada. But I don't think too many Japan fans, even the most optimistic, would have expected them to win it this time. But I think there was a reasonable expectation that they could achieve their best ever result, which would have been just advancing past the first match of the knockout stage, which this time was expanded to 32 teams. Previous tournaments that Japan has reached the knockout stage, it's been a round of 16. But this time the tournament was expanded to 48 teams for the first time, with 32 teams advancing from the groups. And so Japan once again fell at the first hurdle in the knockout stage when they lost to Brazil in the round of 32. But I think a lot of people would have expected them to beat Brazil. Would have expected them to lose to Brazil. There may have been a chance, especially since they won the friendly against Brazil late last year for the first time ever, beating Brazil in an official match. But Japan were definitely the underdogs against the 5-time champions in that game.
How did you feel watching the match when it, for the first half it was Japan leading the game, and Brazil didn't get to the second point until towards the very, very end. How did you feel?
I thought Japan definitely had a chance, especially after they scored the first goal. It was a great goal in the first half, but there was still a lot of the game to go. I mean, a lot can happen even in 1 minute of a football game. So, yeah, I think one of the big problems for Japan coming into this tournament, and everyone knew, was that they were missing a lot of their best players through injury. Several of their big stars, Takefusa Kubo, he was injured in their first game in their draw with the Netherlands, and then Kaoru Mitoma as one of their star wingers. He was ruled out before the tournament. He didn't go with the squad. Wataru Endo, who's been their captain, he was injured and sent home before the first game, and then also Takumi Minamino from Monaco. He was also ruled out for injury. So those are all really important players for Japan, but there was still optimism because this is probably the most deep squad that Japan has ever had. But it was always going to be a big task to try and advance in this tournament without those players. And then when it turned out that they were going to play Brazil in the knockout stage, it started to look very difficult.
I mean, this time around, especially Group F that Japan was in, I feel like there was a lot of talk about bad luck when it comes to the draw, because a lot of the other teams that went into the next round were fighting massive teams. So what was your view about that? Whatever
happened, it was going to be a very difficult round of 32 game for Japan. So Japan finished second in Group F, and so they were playing Brazil, who were winners of their group. And if Japan had won the group, they would have faced Morocco, who were runners-up to Brazil in their group. And Morocco is also a really good team. They were semi-finalists at the previous World Cup, and as people who were watching would have seen, Morocco knocked out Netherlands, who won the group ahead of Japan. And then for this tournament, a number of teams who finished third in their group advanced to the knockout stage as well. And Sweden, which advanced third place from Group F, had to meet France, the favourites for the tournament, in the round of 32. So realistically, it looked like Japan was either going to face Brazil, Morocco, or France in the round of 32. All very difficult matchups. And compared to some of the other round of 32 opponents, very hard. I mean, depending on who they faced, you could say this Japanese team should have been expected to, beat, several of the teams that made it to the knockout stage. So it was unfortunate with the draw.
I know that Japan made it to the knockout phase several times in the past, but like it says in the story that they've never had a win after making it to that stage. What do you think Japan really needs to make that breakthrough?
An easier opponent. An easier opponent than Brazil. Yeah. But, no, I mean, I think, they've definitely been making progress. And, there are more and more Japanese players playing in strong leagues in Europe, playing for big clubs. And so it only looks like Japan is continuing to improve. But that's no guarantee of success in world soccer, world football, because other countries are also improving. And you can look at, some of these other powerhouses like the Netherlands. They've never won the World Cup. They've been runner-up a few times. Spain has only won it once. So this expectation that Japan will eventually win it just because they keep improving, it might be a little optimistic. I mean, nothing is guaranteed, right. But they're definitely trending in the right direction.
Well, you never really know what happens until it happens.
Right. You need to be good and you need a bit of luck. So the last couple of World Cups, I mean, Japan was knocked out in a penalty shootout by Croatia in 2022 after they had led 1-0. The match finished after extra time 1-1, and then they lost in a penalty shootout. So you could say that was unlucky. And then in 2018, they lost in the round of 16 to Belgium after leading. They lost 3-2 after leading 2-0 in that game. That would have been a huge upset. And I was there for that game it was in Rostov in Russia. And again, some really bad luck in that game. So, I think I would say, look, it's not inevitable that Japan is going to one day win the World Cup, but I would feel quite confident in saying they will get past the initial stages of the knockout stage at some time soon. I wouldn't be surprised to see them making a quarterfinal or even a semi-final in the next 4 to 8 years.
Do you think that Brazil was even slightly rattled by the fact that they had to face Japan, given the fact that they lost against Japan last October? Or
I think probably that result in October would have meant a lot more to Japan than it would to Brazil, simply because it was the first time in history that Japan had beaten Brazil. So it was a significant psychological hurdle that they'd gotten over, knowing that they can beat Brazil. But at the same time, it was still just a friendly match. And most of the players will acknowledge that it's completely different playing a friendly than it is playing at the World Cup. Certain players will sit out friendlies while they're to stay with their clubs, or it's just a different level of importance and different level of intensity to the match. So I don't think the Brazilians would have been too concerned about that friendly loss, but it probably would have made them take Japan a little more seriously.
そろそろ終わりの時間が来ました。共同通信では Japan Wire by Kyodo News というサイトで日本や世界で起きた出来事について英語のニュースを発信しています。今日ご紹介した記事も掲載されていますので、ぜひチェックしてみてください。それでは皆さん、See you next time!